Maintenance and management is the fourth key principle of CPTED. That's kind of a cute mural. Years ago, a group of us got together down at the University of Louisville, and we were discussing projects, and projects were failing, meaning they were experiencing high incidence of disorder and even crime. And the common denominator we found was a lack of maintenance and a lack of management. And so we kicked it around a little bit, and it just became the fourth principle of CPTED. Back to our 7-Eleven friends, we'll pick on them again. So this is a store in Vancouver that gets robbed monthly. There is an alley system that runs along the side of it, which is right here. And this is kind of upper parking, and then there's lower parking. And that's what the upper parking level looks like at night, like just dark and scary. The lighting isn't very well balanced. There's a lot of pot lights and facade lights, but it kind of ends right here as far as the brightness goes. And that's not enough of a sight line for staff to see out into the parking lot. So that facilitates the robberies. But not only the robberies, but think of the quality of life of the staff that work in that store who, when they go to work, don't know if they're going to get robbed or not. That's a lot of pressure to go to work under. And so you'll have a high turnover rate. Employees will just quit because they don't feel comfortable or safe. Now you're having to spend money retraining. And then the staff who are there, having to work in that environment, can justify a little bit of employee dishonesty. And that affects the bottom line as well, too. So when you don't maintain your properties, when it gets to this, certainly when it gets to this degree, it sends a message that you don't care. And if you don't care, then why should I, as a citizen, support you and defend your property if you're not going to do it? That's the worst part of the lack of maintenance, that it sends a message that you don't care as a property owner. And when you see this little sign of disorder, the tagging, the nuisance tagging, that's really the time to pay attention to it and address it. Because if this is left unchecked, then the disorder becomes more gritty, I guess, if you want. Then the property damage starts to occur, which then leads to the property crimes, which leads to the break-ins. And then pretty soon you end up with whole downtown sections like this in Prince George that aren't open for business anymore. So business owners, their property values have plummeted. Nobody wants to come downtown and shop because they don't feel safe anymore. And so stores just go out of business. Right across the street from our drug dealer here, all sorts of businesses are open, but they're all gated over with security gates and doors. They have to have neon signs on that say we're open because everything else looks locked, because they're just reacting to the street crime, trying to protect what's theirs. But neighborhoods have a certain capacity to withstand nuisance behavior and disorder and even crime. But once you reach a threshold, your neighborhood is like an ecosystem, and it tips, and you just can't control that much disorder anymore. It's just a human capacity issue. Police, responders, support services, health, housing, everybody kind of gets tired of dealing with so much chaos, and things tip. And before you get to that tipping point, it's really effective to go after it at this point here, before you get to these points. Pay attention to the little things. And then that leads us to the management side of things. So the partnering with special groups that have an interest in our community and the well-being of everyone, that aren't there to kind of politicize the issue, but are there actually as solution providers. They're there to help. Those are the folks that I enjoy working with because they want to be part of the solution around the table.